Hi friends, hello, welcome to Crack UPSC CSC with India's largest online learning platform, An Academy. This is Kiran Shetty, faculty for Political Science, Polity, Issues in Governance, Public Administration and Ethics. Today we are going to discuss very important topic for prelims, that is important facts about Office of the President from UPSC prelims perspective. This topic is relevant and important for prelims as well as mains. Friends, UPSC, the first letter of UPSC, the aspirants only call it as Unpredictable Public Service Commission. Unpredictable. So UPSC is unpredictable. It can change its pattern at any point of time. Now it is asking 12.5 marks question, 10 marks question in mains without giving any notice. All of a sudden, 12 marker, 10 marker can be divided into 2 marker, 3 marker, 5 marker, or 7 marker, or 8 marker. Be prepared for that. Be prepared for that. I prepared for this exam for 10 years. 7 times I wrote my prelims with public administration as optional. I know the tactics of UPSC. Be prepared for that. At any point of time, at any year, without giving prior notice, in mains exam, it can divide the 12 marker or 10 marker into 3 marker, 5 marker, or 7 marker. In case it divides like that, these facts can be asked for 3 marker or 5 marker. For instance, in earlier case, in what are the instances Rajya Sabha has more powers than Lok Sabha? It was asked for 5 marker. I think it was in 2013 mains or 14 mains, if I'm not wrong. Either of these two mains. So be prepared for that. My intention is to train you on UPSC lines and train you to acclimatize yourself with the tactics of you. What you will get from an academy? Daily live classes, live tests, quizzes, structured courses, unlimited access to videos on UPSC mains and prelims. You can prepare with top educators like Tarun Goel, Siddharth Arora. Then you will get material for UPSC on governance, ethics, polity, history, economy, etc. You can subscribe for 12 months. If you use my promo code, that is capital KIRAN, you will get 10% discount. But I suggest if you subscribe for 24 months, it will be all the more better because just for 64,000, you will get subscription for 24 months. And if you use my promo code, you will get 10% discount. My promo code is capital KIRAN. The important executive functions of the president. Article 74 says, there shall be council of ministers headed by prime minister to aid and advise the president, who shall act in accordance with such advice. And the word shall has been incorporated by 42nd Amendment Act by Indira Gandhi government. Article 74 says there shall be council of ministers headed by prime minister to aid and advise the president, who shall act in accordance with such advice. The word shall has been incorporated by 42nd Amendment Act by Indira Gandhi government. The word shall, remember, this fact may be asked in prelims. The word shall has been incorporated by 42nd Amendment Act by Indira Gandhi government. And the word reconsideration was introduced by 44th Amendment Act by Morarji Desai government. The word reconsideration has been incorporated by 44th Amendment Act by Morarji Desai government, Janata government. 44th Amendment Act says the president can send the advice of the Council of Ministers for the consideration, for reconsideration. But even after sending it for reconsideration, if the Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister reiterates and without amending, without what to say, changing anything, again, if it sends the advice to the president, then the president has to accept the advice. You may be getting this question. What is the relevance of reconsideration? Why Janata government has incorporated this word reconsideration by 44th Amendment? There is a relevance, friends. There is a relevance. It's not without any meaning. During Vajpayee government, there was anarchy in Bihar. As you know, Bihar was notorious for lawlessness, anarchy, Dangal Raj. Around 15-20 years ago, before 2005, before Nitish Kumar government came into office. So many Bollywood pictures have been shooted on the instances that used to be in Bihar, like Ganga Jal, starred by Ajay Devgan and Simi Grewal. Sorry, Desing. Then one picture starred by Anil Kapoor and Manisha Koirala. Like that, so many instances, most unfortunate instances of lawlessness. There are allegations that even one IAS officer's wife was raped. Anyhow, these things are off the record. But it is known fact, it is open secret that Dangal Raj used to prevail before 2005. Because of that, Vajpayee government wanted to impose president rule in Bihar. The recommendation was sent to then President Dr. Abdul Kalam. But according to the Supreme Court guidelines in SR Bommai case, when we discuss emergency powers, we will also discuss the important recommendations of SR Bommai case. In SR Bommai case, Supreme Court laid down the guidelines for imposition of president rule in any state. According to Supreme Court's guideline, president rule cannot be imposed on the grounds that anarchy or lawlessness, misrule prevails in that state. Even if law and order situation is failed, on that ground, president rule cannot be imposed. Based on the recommendations of SR Bommai, Supreme Court guidelines in SR Bommai's case, Dr. Abdul Kalam thought that it is not pertinent to impose president rule in Bihar on the account of breakdown of law and order administration. He sent the advice given by Vajpayee government for reconsideration of the Council of Ministers headed by the then Prime Minister Vajpayee. Then Vajpayee government, respecting the reconsideration advice of then President Abdul Kalam, it proposal of imposition of president rule in Bihar. That is the significance of reconsideration. It attracts wide attention of the public, wide attention of the media. Hence, the government of the day, if it thinks that unnecessarily it is going to be blamed in public glare, may drop the proposal. That's why this word reconsideration has been incorporated by 44th Amendment Act by Janata Government. With regard to Article 74, always remember the word shall has been incorporated by 42nd Amendment Act and the word reconsideration has been incorporated by 44th Amendment Act. And one more thing, if we draw the analogy between the president at the center and the governor at the state, anyhow, when we discuss the office of the governor, we will discuss this important aspect. When we draw the analogy between these two nominal executives at their respective levels, union and state, the word shall has been incorporated in Article 74, but such kind of compulsion is not there on the part of the governor under Article 163. Apart from that, under Article 163, the governor has tremendous constitutional discretionary power. Such tremendous constitutional discretionary powers are not there on the part of the president. Hence, never ever compare the nominal executive, that is the president at the center, with that of the state. The nominal executive at state level, that is governor. Governor has tremendous discretionary powers under Article 160. In a nutshell, I will explain Article 160. Article 163 says, there shall be Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister to aid and advise the governor, who acts in accordance with such advice, except in those circumstances in which he needs to act in his discretion. Except in those circumstances in which he needs to act in his discretion. But what are those circumstances in which he needs to act in his discretion are not mentioned in the Constitution. That means he has discretionary powers in almost all the instances. That much of tremendous constitutional discretionary powers are bestowed on the government. Yes, friends, never ever compare the discretionary powers of the president with those of the governor. Governor has tremendous constitution. That's why the second commission on center-state relations, M.M. Poonchi Commission, it recommended a very good proposal that tremendous discretionary powers of the governor under Article 163 be curtailed. The discretionary powers of the governor under Article 163 should be curtailed. So this is Article 74. Anyhow, friends, when we discuss the office of the governor, we will discuss Article 163 in detail. Here comes Article 75. President appoints the Prime Minister and the other members of Council of Ministers will be appointed on the advice of Prime Minister. Article 75, Provision 1 says, the President appoints Prime Minister and the other members of Council of Ministers will be appointed by the President on the advice of Prime Minister. That is Provision 1 of Article 75, Article 75, Provision 1. Then Article 75, Provision 2 says, the Council of Ministers will be in the office during the pleasure of the President. Article 75, Provision 2 says, Council of Ministers will be in the office during the pleasure of the President. Then Article 75, Provision 3 says, the Council of Ministers should have confidence in House of People. This question was asked in 2013 prelims, if I am not mistaken, 10 or 14, just 1 year here and there. Specifically, this question was asked. Council of Ministers need to have confidence in Rajya Sabha. The Council of Ministers need to have confidence in Parliament. The Council of Ministers need to have confidence in either House of the House. The Council of Ministers need to have confidence in House of People. So you should be very thorough about these facts. Facts, it doesn't mean that you need to mug up. You try to remember them and you try to understand the concept. When you understand the concept, it is easier to remember the facts. Not you need not to mechanically mug up these facts. Dear friends, since I have done my LLB in law, in LLB course, we have a separate subject called interpretation of statutes or interpretation of provisions in the Constitution. Whenever whenever there exists any ambiguity with regard to understanding of any provision in the Constitution, that provision should be understood in the light of the preceding statement and what you say, the statement after the provision. The preceding statement and the statement after the what you say provision. For instance, in this case, Article 75 Provision 2 says the Council of Ministers will be in the office during the pleasure of the President. Does it mean that President can, what you say, remove the Council of Ministers at his will whenever he wants, the way he removes the governor? No. The provision 2 of Article 75 should be read and interpreted along with provision 3 of Article 75. What is provision 3 of Article 75? Article 7, provision 3 of Article 75 says the Council of Ministers need to have majority in council house of people. So that means the pleasure of the president need to be understood along with the Article 75 provision 3, that is the Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister need to have confidence in house of people. This is how we need to interpret. This may be asked in mains. So article provision 2 of Article 75 should not be read and interpreted independently. It should be read and interpreted in the context of the following provision, that is Article 75 Provision 3. The Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister needs to have majority or confidence in House of People. This is how we need to understand. Unfortunately, in social media, some so-called intellects, I think what ulterior motive they may be having, they are distorting these constitutional principles and what you say, law principles of law. For instance, in my Telangana, in the context of this corona pandemic, there are some demands are aired, some demands are going on in social media that according to Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act, Section 8, the governor can take law and order administration in Hyderabad with respect to protection of the vital installations in Hyderabad city. Some so-called intellects, they are saying that the governor needs to act after consulting Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister of Telangana. Yes, it is correct. He needs to consult. But preceding statement says, what does the what you say section 3 of what you say third provision of section 8 of Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act says the governor of Telangana state can act independently only after consulting the Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister of Telangana. Are you getting? The governor of Telangana can act independently only after consulting the Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister of Telangana. That means governor can take independent decision. But before taking that independent decision, he needs to consult the Council of Ministers headed by Telangana Chief Minister. But the ultimate action will be taken by the governor in his pure discretion. That is the meaning of the governor can take independent decision. These so-called people, there's so-called, what do you say, self-styled intellectual people, they are cutting off this word. What is that word? Independent. And they are reading the governor needs to consult Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister. Why I am referring this provision that in governor's powers and functions, when we discuss governor's powers and functions, we will discuss. There are some powers and functions of the governor in which the governor needs to consult Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister, but he ultimately acts in his pure discretion. What are they? For instance, Article 371, Provision 2, Constitution of Developmental Boards for Kutch and Saurashtra region in Gujarat, and Constitution of Developmental Boards for Vidarbha and what is a Marathwada region in Maharashtra. With regard to these functions, the governors of the state concerned should consult their respective council of ministers headed by chief minister, but ultimately they will be acting in their own discretion. In the same way, Article 371H, Land Order Administration in Arunachal Pradesh. Article 371G, the peace and progress of all the sections of the society in Sikkim. So, with regard to these functions, the governor has to consult the Council of Ministers, headed by Chief Minister concerned. Yet, he acts in his own discretion ultimately. So, friends, this is how the provisions in the Constitution should be read and interpreted. Whenever, wherever, if, what to say, exists any confusion with regard to interpretation of particular provision in the Constitution. So this is Article 75, then Article 78. I think 10 minutes video I have made. I am making 10 minutes videos which consist of precise, like bullet points, precise facts for the sake of prelim. So there are constitutional discretionary powers on the part of the president, but generally we think that president doesn't have any constitutional discretionary powers. No, he does have constitutional discretionary powers. So in one of my 10 minutes video, I discussed these constitutional discretionary powers of the president. So this Article 78 is one of the constitutional discretionary powers of the president. Under this article, there are three provisions. First, it is the duty of the Prime Minister to convey the President of important executive and legislative decisions of the Union. It is the duty of the Prime Minister to convey the President of the important executive and legislative decisions of the Union government. That is Provision 1, Article 78A. Article 78A. Then Article 78B says, if the President asks so, it is the duty of the Prime Minister to furnish such information required by the President. Article 78B says, if the President asks so, it is the duty of the Prime Minister to furnish such information required by the President. Such information required by the President. So in this regard, I wanted to recollect one instance which happened when Nani Jail Singh was President of India. In the immediate aftermath of Indira Gandhi assassination, there were Sikh riots. Justice Nanavati Commission was constituted to look into these Sikh riots, and it furnished the report to the Daden Rajiv Gandhi government. Daden President Nani Jail Singh, by using this article, Article 78B, he ordered Daden Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi to furnish details of Justice Nanavati Commission. He ordered the Prime Minister to make the findings of Justice Nanavati Commission public. Rajiv Gandhi government hit to the order of the President. The President thought of removing the Council of Ministers from office, and Council of Ministers thought of impeaching the president because at that time the Congress had the largest majority, triple four, 444 seats in Lok Sabha, and even in Rajya Sabha it had a two-third majority. Hence, it thought of impeaching the president. President thought of removing the Council of Ministers from the office. The situation went to constitutional deadlock. That is the significance of this article, Article 78B. If President asks so, it is the duty of the Prime Minister to furnish such information required by the President. His friends, never ever think that President is mere rubber stamp. UPSC is very tactful, very shrewd. It is like the world-class bowler Wasim Akram. The way Wasim Akram lays the trap for the batsman by his slow ball, the next ball will be fast, and the other ball will be in swinger, then out swinger, then Yorker, then short pitch game. Like that, he will show various varieties of balls. In the same way, UPSC will show you all the varieties in the exam. It's like package. So it lays a trap. It lays trap. It asks the question: is the President of India mere rubber stamp? Then we fall in that trap. Yes, yes, President of India is rubber stamp. We write like that. And we are gone. So don't fall in the trap of UPSC. President of India does have constitutional discretionary powers and circumstantial discretionary powers. And this article, Article 78B, is one of the constitutional discretionary powers of the president. Then all these provisions, Article 78A, Article 78B, Article 78C, all these three are constitutional discretionary powers of the president. Article 78C says, Article 78C says, if the president asks so, if the president asks so, it is the duty of the Prime Minister to lay the matter in front of Council of Ministers on which the decision has already been taken, but it is not considered by Council of Ministers. Once again, I repeat, Article 78 Provision C says, if President asks so, it is the duty of the Prime Minister to lay the matter in front of Council of Ministers for any consideration on which the decision has been already on which the decision has already been taken, but it is not considered by. For instance, sometimes in a hasty manner, the Prime Minister may take some decisions without consulting his cabinet colleagues. But ours is parliamentary form of. It is not presidential form of government. In parliamentary form of government, the powers and functions of the executive have been distributed amongst the cabinet of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is first among the equals, but formally he is not superior to the Council of Ministers. He is not supposed to take any decision, any important decision, without consulting his cabinet colleagues. That's why in Hyderabad, the present TRS government is demolishing the existing secretariat. Then the case went to High Court. High Court of Telangana posed one question to Advocate General of Telangana State. Does the Chief Minister of Telangana consult his cabinet colleagues? Before demolishing the secretariat, did Minister consult his cabinet colleagues? Show us the documental evidence. And the case has been adjourned to tomorrow, that is 15th July, tomorrow. So in parliamentary form of government, of course, even at state level, we have parliamentary form of government. The executive is supposed to take important decisions only after consulting his cabinet colleagues. That's why this provision has been incorporated under Article 78C. If the president asks so, it is the duty of the prime minister to lay the matter in front of council of ministers for its consideration, on which decision has already been taken, but it is not considered by council of ministers. Here comes the important legislative functions of the president. Under Article 85, the president can summon and prorogue the sessions of the parliament. He can summon and prorogue. What is the difference between prorogue and adjournment? Adjournment means just the session is postponed for some hours. The house is adjourned till evening. The house is adjourned till Monday. That is adjournment. Adjournment sine die, adjournment without giving any time period. Without giving any time period. The house has been adjourned till further notice is given. So in adjournment sine die, the time period to which the house has been suspended is not given. But in adjournment, the time period is specifically mentioned. That is the difference between adjournment and adjournment sine die. Both adjournment and adjournment sine die can be announced by the presiding officer of the house. Speaker in case of Lok Sabha, Vice President in case of Rajya Sabha. Both adjournment and adjournment sine die can be announced by the presiding officer of the house. But proroguing means end of the session. For instance, now monsoon sessions are going on. Monsoon sessions have been announced from 15th July to then 10th September. But on 10th August, President prorogued monsoon sessions of Parliament. That means it is the end of the session itself, the monsoon session itself. Monsoon sessions are going to be held till 10th of September. No, in our example. But on 10th August, the President prorogued. That means the rest of the sessions for 1 month, that is from 10th of August to 10th of September, have been stopped. They have been cancelled. They have been cancelled. It is the end of the session itself. It is the end of the session itself. Whether it may be monsoon session, winter session, or budget session. Prorogue means end of the session. Prorogue can be announced only by the president. Prorogue can be announced only by the president. You need to remember these facts, friends. Don't underestimate UPSC. Many of the aspirants, they write prelims exam. After coming out of prelims examination hall, they will be very happy. They will be jumping. They will be jubilant. They go to cinema or they will have some cocktail party in the evening. In the next day morning, most of the aspirants' faces will become dull. A pall of gloom may, what you say, descend on their face. Why? Immediately after coming out of the examination hall, most of the minute facts at which we committed blunder that we don't know. And next day morning when we check our answers, then one by one, these mistakes will come out. Then our mind always says, "Arey, I should not have missed this question. I should not have made this minute, what you say, error. I should not have committed this blunder. Arey, I should have got another 2 or 3 questions correct. Another at least one question correct." Because we will be missing prelims at wrinkles space. At wrinkles space. I can place myself in your shoes because I took this prelims exam for 7 times. 7 times. Even after my last attempt in 2009, 11 years have been elapsed. Even today, whenever summer comes, I will get the fever of prelims. That is the nightmarish experience that you will get from. Because in mains you will be having this, what is it, confidence or भरोसा, एक तरह की दिलासा रहेगा कि if you do not do well in one paper, we may be able to do well in another paper. But in prelims, if you miss, you will miss the attempt, the attempt itself. That's why we need to be very careful about these facts. Hence, try to understand what is adjournment, what is adjournment sanadai, what is prorogue, and what is dissolvement. Under same Article 85, the president can dissolve the lower house, that is, House of People. So that is Article 85. Under Article 80, Provision 1, the president can nominate 12 members to Rajya Sabha. Under Article 80, Provision 1, the president can nominate 12 members to 12 members to Rajya Sabha who have specialized knowledge and practical experience in arts, science, literature, and social service. Arts, science, literature, and social service. Then you may get one doubt. Sachin Tendulkar was nominated to Rajya Sabha. Then in which category he was nominated? Art, science, social service, or literature? The case went to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court ruled that cricket is also a form of art. Supreme Court ruled that cricket is also a form of art. So it validated the nomination of Sachin Tendulkar to Rajya Sabha. Under Article 80, Provision 1, President can nominate 12 members to Rajya Sabha. 12 members to Rajya Sabha. Then Article 331, the President can nominate 2 members to Lok Sabha who belong to Anglo-Indian community. Anglo-Indian community. Here, friends, with regard to nomination of Rajya Sabha members, we often may draw analogy between nomination of Rajya Sabha members and nomination of members to State Legislative Council. To State Legislative Council, the governor of the state can nominate the people who have practical experience and expertise in art, literature, science, social service, and one additional qualification is there that you bear in your mind. One additional qualification is there for nomination to Legislative Council, state level, as MLC, that is cooperative movement. Along with art, literature, science, and social service, you have an additional qualification to be nominated to State Legislative Council, that is cooperative movement. These minute facts you need to bear in your mind, friend. These minute facts. This is where the UPSC lays the trap. This is where the UPSC lays the trap. Be careful. We what do you say? We may be what is um, we may not be so cautious, and we may be thinking that the grounds that are prescribed for nomination of members of Rajya Sabha, same grounds are there for nomination to Legislative Council. Yes, they are. But apart from those, you have one additional qualification. Cooperative, always keep in your mind. Then Article 86 is also one of the discretionary powers of the president. The president can address both the houses of parliament, or he can send message to both the houses of parliament, or he can send message to both the houses of parliament. So here we need to distinguish between Article 86 and 87. This aspect I mentioned in my 10 minutes video also. Under Article 87 also, the president addresses both the houses of parliament. But under Article 87, the president addresses the parliament in some special circumstances, some special cases. What are those special cases? The first session after New Year, after general election, and the first session in New Year. In these two special occasions, the president addresses both the houses of parliament. That is one. Second, the address that is delivered by the president under Article 87 is prepared by Council of Ministers. It is not given in his district. But on the other hand, the address that is delivered, that can be delivered by the president under Article 86, can be delivered at any point of time, even if there were not to be any regular session of the parliament. The president can address both the houses of parliament. If he uses Article 86, special session of the parliament has to be summoned. Remember, special session of the parliament has to be summoned for the address of the president. And he can address both the houses of parliament. And the address that is delivered by the president will be in his discretion, not on the advice of the Council of Ministers. Third, even if the president has some difference of opinion with Council of Ministers, that can be conveyed by the president under Article 8. This is very penal provision in the Constitution. That means the president can make the government of the day, shame in public glare by using this article. Fortunately, no president of India has ever used this provision of the Constitution. Penal provision. This is also one of the important constitutional discretionary power of the president. That's why, friends, once again, I am cautioning you, never ever think that the president of India doesn't have any constitutional discretionary power. Always bear in your mind. Then, the bills that require prior assent of the president. What are those bills which require prior assent of the president? The States Reorganization Bill under Article 3, Money Bill under Article 110, then, then Financial Bill Type A under Article 117, Provision 1, then Financial Bill Type B under Article 117, Provision 3, then the bills which affect the taxes in which states are interested. Article 274. Article 274, the bills which affect the taxes in which states are interested. For instance, tomorrow, if Parliament decides that the excise tax on liquor is going to be included in GST, then it impacts the taxes in which states are interested. Such bill needs prior assent of the president. Or any change in the definition of agricultural income. Any change in the definition of agricultural income. Because agricultural income tax is levied and collected by state government. So Article 274 says any bill which impacts the taxes in which states are involved. Article 274. And Article 304, state bills that impose restriction on interstate freedom of trade. the state bills which impose restriction on interstate trade and commerce. The state bills which impose restriction on interstate trade and commerce under Article 304. Then any bill which fall under Article 31A, that means Article 31A deals with compulsory acquisition of property for public purpose. Compulsory acquisition of property for public purpose. Whether it is parliament law or state law, which comes under Article 31A, should get prior assent of the President. Then under Article 123, the President can issue ordinance. The President cannot issue ordinance to amend the Constitution, and the President cannot issue ordinance to amend fundamental rights or directive principles of state policy. These things you always remember. President cannot issue ordinance for the amendment of the Constitution, nor for the amendment of fundamental rights or directive principles of state policy. As you know, President can issue ordinance if either house of the Parliament or both the houses of Parliament are not in session to meet any emergency. And this ordinance will be in force till the next session of the House of Parliament or that house which was not in session at the time of promulgation of the ordinance, and within 6 months from the commencement of the session of both the Houses of Parliament or that house which was not in session at the time of promulgation of ordinance should be passed within 6 weeks from the start of the session. Otherwise, the ordinance will die. Then under Article 103, this is also a kind of discretionary power of the President, but under Article 103, President will be exercising his authority on the advice of Election Commission. The President decides the questions of disqualification of members of Parliament. The President decides the questions of disqualification of members of Parliament under Article 103. Then judicial powers of the President. President's clemency powers are mentioned in Article 72. Very, very important. Remember always. President's clemency powers are mentioned under Article 72. In this, we have various clemency powers of the President: pardon, commutation, remission, respite, and reprieve. Pardon, commutation, remission, respite, reprieve. What do you mean to say pardon? Here we tend to commit blunder. We always compare pardon with commutation. Really, the convicted person for death sentence, they file mercy petition to the President, not for the pardon, for commutation. What is the difference between pardon and commutation? Pardon means total absolvement of the convicted person. The convicted person will be saved not only from the main sentence, but also from the limitations that are corollary to the main sentence. For instance, if a person is convicted for murder, so he is sentenced to death. When President pardons, the convicted person will be saved not only from the death sentence, but also he will not be awarded even imprisonment. Life imprisonment will also be removed for him. Not only that, the corollary disabilities which are complement to the main sentence. For instance, if any person is convicted for heinous crime, He is not allowed to write competitive exams. He is not allowed to enter into government service. Such disability will also be removed. He cannot be issued with passport. That disability will be removed. He cannot contest the elections. That disability will be removed. He is not eligible to vote. That disability will be removed. Pardon means the convicted person will be saved not only from the main sentence but also from the disabilities that are corollary to the main sentence. Totally, he will be left free. He will be like normal person. That is pardon. Then what is commutation? Commutation refers to awarding lighter form of punishment which involves change in the nature of the sentence. Awarding lighter form of punishment which involves change in the nature of the sentence. Awarding lighter form of sentence which involves change in the nature of the sentence. That is commutation. Then what is remission? Awarding lighter form of punishment without change in the nature of the sentence. For instance, 14 years of rigorous imprisonment has been reduced to 7 years of rigorous imprisonment. That is, what you say, remission. Then what is respite? Respite is awarding lighter form of punishment in special circumstance, under special circumstance. Awarding lighter form of punishment under special circumstances. For instance, Nalini, the convicted person in Rajiv Gandhi assassination, his sentence was converted into life imprisonment under special circumstances. That is, she was mother of a small child. She was mother of a small child. Under special circumstances, such as being pregnant woman, such as being mother of a small child, such as suffering from a terminal disease like cancer or AIDS, such as being in very old age, 80 or 85 or 90 years. So, awarding lighter form of punishment under special circumstances, that is reprieve. Then what is respite? Sorry, that is respite. That is respite. Then what is reprieve? Reprieve means temporary suspension of execution of the sentence. Tomorrow, if they are going to be executed, death sentence has been postponed for another 1 month or so. So that is respite means awarding lighter form of punishment in special circumstance. Remission means awarding lighter form of punishment without changing the nature of the sentence, like reducing 14 years of rigorous imprisonment to 7 years of rigorous imprisonment. Then what is commutation? Awarding lighter form of punishment which involves change in the nature of the sentence. For instance, death sentence has been converted into life imprisonment. Then what is pardon? Total absolvement of the convicted person. Total absolvement of convicted person. So these facts you remember because this can be asked under prelims in match the following. In match the following, they may ask, UPSC may ask in match the following. We think that we know everything, but in examination hall, under the influence of the tension of examination, you will be forgetting what is reprieve, what is respite, what is commutation. Precise memory of facts. Your memory should be as precise as the scalpel in the hands of the surgeon. Like that, you have to differentiate. You should be able to differentiate these minute facts, which is the crux of getting through the prelim. When Article 143, the President can seek the advice from Supreme Court. The President can seek the advice from Supreme Court. So this Article 143 also discretionary power of the president, under which president need not to take the advice of Council of Ministers. Under Article 143, he seeks the advice of Supreme Court. He need not to take the advice. He need not to act on the advice of Council of Ministers. That is the meaning of advice. What is it? Constitutional discretionary power of the president. Constitutional discretionary power of the president is that where the president can act in his own pure discretion without having function on the advice of the minister, Council of Ministers, where he need not to act on the advice of Council of Ministers. Then veto powers of the president. The president of India has absolute veto, pocket veto, and suspensive veto, not qualified veto. What is this qualified veto? Qualified veto is there on the part of the US president. Qualified veto is that veto which can be overridden with special majority. Qualified veto is that veto which can be overridden with special majority. But the suspensive veto is that one which can be overridden with simple majority. So in India's case, the president veto can be overridden with simple majority. That means when a bill has been passed by both the houses of parliament, when it is sent for the assent of the president, if the president sent the bill for reconsideration of the parliament, then parliament can override that veto of the president by repassing the bill with simple majority in both the houses of parliament. By repassing the bill with simple majority in both the houses of parliament. That is suspensive veto. Then what is pocket veto? Pocket veto means when the president does not act on the bill, he doesn't reject nor he accepts the bill. That is pocket veto. In Constitution, it is not mentioned the time period within which the president has to convey his decision on the bill has not been prescribed in the Constitution. Fortunately, no president of India misutilized this lacuna in the provisions of the Constitution. So, pocket veto is that one where the president does not take any decision on the bill that has been passed by the parliament. Absolute veto. Absolute veto means the president of India can summarily reject the bill, can totally reject the bill. There are only two types of bills which can be summarily rejected by the president. One is private member bill, the bill that has been introduced by private member. Private member means the member who is not minister. The member who is not minister is private member. The private member bill, and the other is the state bill that has been reserved by the governor for the consideration of the president. And the other is the state bill that has been reserved by the governor for the consideration of the. Then we will discuss the office of the vice president in a nutshell. Article 63 mentions about the office of the president, and Article 64 mentions the only function that has been prescribed in the Constitution, that is, the president is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. That is, the vice president is chairman of Rajya Sabha. The only function that has been prescribed in Constitution for vice president is he is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Article 66 mentions about the manner of election of the vice president. Here also the trap can be laid by UPSC. What is that? The vice president the vice president should be elected by members of both the houses of parliament, both nominated as well as elected. The vice president is elected by nominated as well as elected members of the parliament. But under Article 67 provision B, the removal of the vice president, the Rajya Sabha can impeach the vice president by passing the impeachment motion with absolute majority, not special majority. Absolute majority. Absolute majority means majority of total strength of the house, majority of 245, which is the total membership of Rajya Sabha. So vice president can be removed under Article 67B, absolute majority. He can be removed by absolute majority by Rajya Sabha and assented to by Lok Sabha. This is how the vice president can be removed. But in the election of the vice president, all the houses of the members, they participate, both elected as well as nominated, and they elect vice president by proportional representation through single transferable vote. They elect the vice president by proportional representation through single transferable vote. Once again, I repeat, vice president is elected by both the houses, the members of both houses of parliament, both nominated as well as elected. And Article 67B deals with removal of the vice president. Vice president can be removed by members of Rajya Sabha with absolute majority, then assented to by Lok Sabha. One more minute fact here. Most of us know vice president assumes the office of the president in case of the death of the president, in case of resignation of the president, in case of impeachment of the president, in case of absence of the president because of illness or foreign tour, or otherwise. Or otherwise means if the president is disqualified by Supreme Court in his manner of election. In all these instances, vice president will be acting as the president. When vice president acts as the president, the vice president will be getting the same salary and emoluments of those of the president. He will be getting the same salary as president, but he will not be getting double salary. That is the salary of the president as well as the salary of vice president. Apart from that, in all these instances, in case of death, in case of resignation, in case of impeachment, in case of absence of the president because of illness or foreign tour, or otherwise. Otherwise means in case the president is disqualified by Supreme Court with regard to his manner of election. In all these 5 instances, vice president will be acting as president. But one instance, it is not vice president. The incumbent president will be requested to continue. What is that instance? The vacancy to fill the office of president should be completed before the expiration of the term of the present or the incumbent president. Because of any emergency, if that process were to get delayed, the incumbent president will be requested to continue in the office till the fresh elections for the president is over. You're getting the present president is Ram Nath Kovind. So the elections to fill the vacancy which falls after the expiration of the term of the present president Ram Nath Kovind got delayed. It were to got delayed because of some reason, for instance, such as corona pandemic. That process of filling the vacancy of present president has been delayed. In such case, incumbent president, in our example, present president Ram Nath Kovind, the incumbent president will be requested to continue in the office till the elections, fresh elections to fill the vacancy is completed. In this case, not vice president, the incumbent president will be asked to continue in the office till the fresh elections are held. So these facts, friends, always embed in your mind. These are very, very important for William's point of view. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this interesting session. Use my promo code capital KIRAN and get 10% discount. And if you want these PPTs, please subscribe to this Telegram link, post Telegram. Thank you. Thanks a lot.